right. Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday. Get everything in order here. My windows are messed up here. Okay. Happy Friday. Welcome. My name is Patrick. I run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts, and you guys have somehow got drawn into our ecosystem, and you have questions. Questions like, who are these people? Why did they email so much? Do they know what they're talking about? Could they possibly help my art and or photography career? If I got to turn my lights on, sorry about that. Blind me for a sec. Could they possibly help my art or photography career? Maybe you saw a podcast or you saw a Facebook or an Instagram ad and you're wondering who we are, what we do. So that's what we're here to answer, all of the above today on today's session. As I was thinking about, like, anyone that's been following our marketing for any period of time, Q4 comes along and we start banging the drum pretty heavily. Q4 is the last 3 months of the year that have in them Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the run up to Christmas, holiday buying season. There are many names for it, but we get out way ahead of it for a number of different reasons. One, I need to get my customers fired up and get them excited to actually do some marketing. But you know what it is? Like, sometimes I use the marathon analogy, but you know when you have some people coming over to your house for dinner or something, what do? You start tidying up the house, right? You're like, let's get that mess cleaned up. You make sure everything's in order. You throw some stuff into the closet if you're me, because I have children and my house is always a mess. But that's the whole point of Q4, essentially. Like, we've been in business for 10 years. We have a little bit over 10,000 customers. And every single solitary year, sort of the macro trend that we see, I've got to pull it up here, get my fat head out of the way. Spring is basically baseline in terms of like total art, total photography that sells during a given year. Like right after New Year's, there's always some New Year's resolution-y type of stuff, and some holdover sales, spending the Christmas cash, kind of that thing. So you get a 1.5x multiple of the spring season. The summer season, believe it or not, is actually the next best. This has primarily to do with it's when the majority of people relocate. You move to get a different school district for the kids. More people move during the summer, and so wall space becomes available. The holiday season for us represents a 5x multiple on the amount of art and photography that is sold directly from our customers' websites compared to all the other times of the year. So very, very important season to be selling your art, to be aware of all of the above. And so one of the hardest things it is for us to do as a business is to get our customers to market consistently. None of you guys like marketing. All of you have a huge marketing problem. Until we solve that, nothing in the business is going to move. Doesn't matter if you're with us, you're somewhere else, you're on your own. It's utterly, totally, completely irrelevant, because all artists and photographers treat their marketing like a New Year's resolution. Sign up for that gym membership in January. You're going 4 days a week. Things are looking pretty good. March rolls around. You haven't been once all year. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. The years just disappear and the business doesn't go anywhere. So it's the biggest cross that we have to bear. It's the biggest thing that we have to solve. It's the reason the number one adjective used in front of artists is starving. It's that no one markets their work. Just facts. So when Q4 comes along, we start banging the drum. And it's like company-wide. So much of what we do is, there's two sides of the house, right? There's our customers, and then there's you guys who are trying to get to sign up to be customers. Doesn't matter. You all have the exact same damn problem, right? Like, just because people signed up with Art Storefronts, it's not like, woo, all of a sudden they're great marketers. No. I have to harass, cajole, bribe, encourage, support, put people in community, all of the above, to get them to continue to take their marketing seriously, because your default behavior is to not do a damn thing. All right? So I have a rant today recorded on the session that I did a couple of weeks ago, and it's a good one. It is going to lay out the case for Q4, so I'm going to play that. As the session is rolling along, if you guys have questions, if you look at the bottom of your Zoom window, got to resize this guy. Okay, there's this little chat bubble thing, and you can throw messages in there. I will attempt to answer them as it's rolling along. If I can't answer it, we will save it to the Q&A on the backside of the session, in which you can ask any question you have about anything. I would love to answer any and all of it. I've been doing this for a long time, specifically in this industry for a long time, helping artists and photographers attempting to live their dreams, which is really just proxy for getting them to damn market consistently. Okay, so gonna play this video. Afterwards, we're gonna get into the Q&A. You can ask anything about anything. It's very important to me that you leave this session, whether you ever decide to be a customer of Art Storefronts or not, with something tangible of value that will hopefully motivate you, inspire you, harass you into, threaten you into taking some action in your career. Okay, sorry, I've been at this all week. I'm cantankerous on a Friday, and so please ask me anything about anything that you think you are struggling with. Pricing, branding, niche selection, how to get your work photographed. Should I do this? What should I do about that? I want to get into a gallery. I'd love to answer any and all of those questions, and I could quite frankly care less if it means you sign up or don't sign up. I want to help you, and I'm serious about that. In addition to that, if you don't want to hear it from the corporate mouthpiece, i.e. shill, i.e. me, we have an Art Storefronts customer here, okay? Andrea, who's been with us about a year and a half. You can see her in the Zoom. You can ask her any question you want, including how bad I have to harass her to do her marketing continuously. Okay? It doesn't go away. It doesn't ever go away. It never will go away. So I'm going to start the video. It's a good one. Once it's done, we're going to get into Q&A, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Throw questions in the chat as it rolls along, and I'll see you guys on the other side. It's such a cheesy thing to say. I'll see you on the other side. But let me just get this thing queued up. Okay. I call this thing the Q4 boot camp because Q4 is coming, but I want to rant about something else because it's top of mind and it's important to me. And it's not Instagram, but we'll talk about that in a second too. Let me get off that so it's not distracting. So I should say I've been at this business for 8 years, and it was in the art industry before that. And I've been running sessions like this essentially 3 days a week since right around the time the pandemic started. So it's got to be 50,000 artists and photographers now over the course of that entire time. We have a little bit over 10,000 customers at Art Storefronts. I get to see all their data, not only on who's selling what prices, this, that, and the other, but also where did their traffic come from that actually led to these sales. What I've come to realize in all of that is there's only three viable ways to make it today as an artist, photographer who wants to sell their creations. Only three. And let's talk about the three. And to give it some teeth, let's just say a successful art business. I know everyone's definition of that is a little bit different, right? But for the sake of argument, let's just say a successful art business is an art business in which you have gross sales of $100,000 a year, right? Sounds like a lofty number, fine, but let's just say that. So, okay, there's only three ways to get there. Number one way, the way that everyone on this call would prefer to do, get into a gallery where all you have to do is create and they do everything else. That sounds awesome, right? Okay, let's work those numbers through. You're in a gallery, and you're doing $100,000 a year in gross sales. The gallery takes 50%. So that means at the end of the day, you get $50,000 back. And because it's gross sales, then you have to subtract your studio, your materials, your trips, your tripods, your lenses, all of that, and maybe you're left with $35,000. Hardly a living wage. Let's make that picture a little bit rosier. And by the way, the number of artists that are in that situation, that are selling $100,000 a year in a gallery, is probably less than 1 or 2% of the total artists and photographers that are out there trying to sell their art in photography. Let's make that picture a little bit rosier, and let's say $300,000. Okay, let's triple it in gross sales a year in a gallery. And with the aforementioned 50% haircut, 150, okay, you're making $100,000 a year. That's fantastic. That's less than 1%, probably less than 0.2% of artists and photographers out there. So in terms of a viable path forward, the way that I like to explain making it in a gallery is to have that level of success that way as an artist or photographer is kind of like playing a sport versus being a professional athlete. How many people do you know play a sport? How many professional athletes do you know, right? The odds are just not fantastic. And the real death knell to the gallery model is you guys are all going to be artists and photographers for the rest of your life. I routinely get people on these calls in their 90s still trying to sell their art, which is amazing. And you realize it's the long game. Wherever you are, you have a ton of time left, right, to do this, God willing, of course. If you don't know who's purchasing your art and you can't market to them for the rest of your life, you don't have the ability to develop collectors. Collectors are folks that'll come back and keep buying from you again and again and again, year after year after year. And it's the lifeblood of any art business. In the gallery model, you don't know because the gallery doesn't tell you who purchases. It's important to state that, important to understand that. All right, let's table the gallery model for a sec. Next is to become a road warrior. A road warrior is someone that does anywhere from 25 to 45 shows a year. The fairs, the shows, the farmers markets, the thises, the that's, and you are loading that car up, setting up the booth, Sometimes it's a dud, sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's inclement weather. You're away from your family, you're 8 hours a day on your feet. It is not easy, it's hard. That being said, totally viable path to get there. If I was an artist myself and I was like looking back at my life and I wanted to give my like 20-year-old self some advice, okay, Emma, talking to you, you're the young one here, it would be like, don't have wife, don't have a significant other, don't have kids, don't have a mortgage. And if you have any of those things, it's just a generalization. You're the young one and I'm looking at you. So go and do that when you're young. Because if you can do that when you're young, when you don't have the aforementioned significant other and kids and soccer games on Saturdays and a mortgage, that's when you're the freest to be able to do that. And it's totally a viable path. Like I've got multiple customers that are in their 50s and 60s that did it for years and years and years. One guy I think of, this guy, Bill Stidham, 175,000 miles on his van in 6 years that he just used for his art shows. I mean, he hit it hard. You know what that guy has now? Healthy 6-figure a year business, and he barely does any shows anymore because he built up the list. He built up a customer base. He built up collectors. The third way, okay, is what everybody really, truly has to do. It's what you want to do, which is, I know I'm not going to get into a gallery. I know I'm not doing the show and therapy circuit. That's just too much. I can't be that road warrior. So I want to sell direct. I want to understand who's purchasing my work. And it's totally a viable path. It's what we advocate. Here's the rub, though. You have to market your own art. You have to market your own art. There is no one that is going to market it for you. And for some people, that is a painful thing to hear. For most artists and photographers, it's a painful thing to hear, but it's true. Anyone that's been in this business for any period of time knows that you guys are all sold a bill of goods that somehow an artist or a photographer's vocation is just to create this amazing thing and everything else just happens, and nothing could be further from the truth. You have to get good and understand that marketing yourself is just as important a job as creating what you create. And the sooner you come to terms with that, the way better your life becomes. Why? Because there's never been a better time in the history of the world to do it. Not even close. I mean, for those of us that are older and remember the days before these things existed and before social networks with hundreds of millions of people worldwide were on their phones all day long, do you know how hard it was? Do you know how much harder it was? You were geographically fixed on the planet somewhere, and that's where you started, and that's what you had. You had to grind way harder. Now, if you take your marketing vocation seriously, if you're like, I'm going to get good at this, if you realize that your art business is essentially 2 trains on 2 tracks. Train number 1, your art, your craft, your creations, your subject matter material, your brush, your lens, how good you get with all of that. That train has its own path, and it will go throughout the rest of your career. You want to get better at it. You want to make sure that train has no brakes. The other one is how good you get at marketing yourself. And you need to treat it seriously, and you need to turn it into an art form. And if you understand those 2 things, that is the path that artists and photographers get on, will become successful, will have a business that is growing year after year after year. And I really firmly do believe there's never been a better time in the history of the world to do that. But it's actually simple. Simple, not easy. Not easy in the fact that you guys have to get good at marketing. Not good that you have to take it seriously. Not good that you have to learn how to do this. And nobody likes doing it. I totally get that, okay? I mean, I run the marketing department here. Truth be told, I don't even like doing it, okay? Posting on socials on a regular basis, content marketing, right? Running sales, all the things that you have to do. But I don't know what the alternative is. I don't know what the alternative is. Because of all the tens of thousands of artists and photographers that have come through these Zoom sessions in the last 3 years, there are maybe 1 or 2 that were doing great in the gallery. And I saw specifically, like right when COVID hit and all those gallery people got closed up, those people were flooding into these Zooms going, what do I do? I've got nothing. My income's done, right? It was terrifying. The road warriors are the road warriors. And then there's nothing else. You know, there's nothing else. Like I've had like 6 people tell me they make more $10,000 a year on Saatchi, Fine Art America, Redbubble. I've had a couple of people on Etsy that are doing like $20,000 or $30,000 a year, but I haven't heard anyone else. So when you realize those odds, and please don't take it cynically, like this is only going to happen for you if you sign up at Art Storefronts. I don't care where you sign up or what you do, but I do care that if you want to take this business seriously and you want to see it growing year after year, it's the 2 trains, 2 tracks, no brakes. 2 trains, 2 tracks, no brakes. Okay. Now that rant is over with, I call this thing a Q Thorpe boot camp, and I love the marathon analogy, all right? I hate running. I will never sign up for a marathon in my life. But I know some people that have, and there's one thing that you notice about those people that sign up for the marathon. As soon as you fill out that form for that miserable activity,
your whole life changes. Why? You know the pain is coming. You start eating a little bit better. You start training and taking your exercising more seriously. You start getting better sleep. If it's me, you work on that drinking habit that you have, right? All of these things in your life, you start taking more seriously. And my contention, having been in this business for close to 10 years now and having seen what goes on in Q4, the last 3 months of the year, it's a marathon that you're signed up for, whether you know it or not. And the training that you do between now and then, between the fourth quarter, the buying season, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the roll up to Christmas, all of those sales that are in the water, all throughout that. More art, more photography is sold in the fourth quarter than the other 3 quarters combined almost sometimes. Like our customers that do it well have a good year based on what that fourth quarter is. And so my contention is that you're signed up for that marathon whether you know it or not. And the question is, what are you going to start doing between now and then? What are you going to start doing between now and then to get ready? Because if it's wait until the things start getting colder, kids are back at school, you're running around like a crazy person. Next thing you know, it's Thanksgiving. Oh, I got to have a sale. And then you post something on Facebook and send an email to 6 people. Not going to be good. Not going to be good, right? So we need to start training now, right? We need to start getting our businesses in order now. And there's a number of different ways that you can approach that and that you can contemplate it. But step 1 in all of it is have it in the back of your head. It's coming. What you do between now and then is going to dictate the level of success that you have, and it is the most important time of the year to be selling. Without question, not even close. And you have to have your art up on the website. You have to start working on an email list. You have to start marketing regularly and consistently on the social media platforms. If you do that now, you're gonna wake up come October and you're gonna be like, oh, got a little momentum in my back. Things actually look pretty good here. People actually know who I am, and I have the ability to market and run some sales when Black Friday and Cyber Monday comes along. So very, very important to understand that happens every single solitary year. Every year it is absolutely fantastic in terms of sales, in terms of art and photography. So all very, very important. Pricing is another big one. And pricing is one of my favorite topics in this business period, right? And do you know what I love more than anything else? All the bullshit advice that's out there based on pricing. Here's the formula that you use for pricing. It's material cost times square inch times media times your time. Yeah, okay, great. Thanks for that. Magic, really. The only thing that matters is whether or not the art sells. There is no magical formula that's going to help you price your art if the art doesn't sell, which is why all of those formulas are nonsense. Pricing is quite simply this. And it's awesome and it's freeing. And once you do it, and once you realize this lesson, and I have like a really in-depth article on this and I'm going to send it to all of you. You, creative types, need to have prices from 0 to 100. You need to have prices from 100 to 1,000. You need to have prices over 1,000. And you need to have one thing in the shop that is obscenely expensive. Okay? Now let me break that all down with some real numbers. The 0 to 100 is really, really easy, especially if you're reproducing your artwork in terms of prints. But you also have to have non-wall art as a part of your lineup, okay? It can't just be wall art. And the reason is that not everybody is ready to buy wall art all the time. And so you're out there, you're doing your marketing, you're getting your art, your photography in front of people, and they're like, wow, I really like this person. I really like their creativity. Problem, I'm not in the market for art right now. I want to reward this person for their talent, but I'm not in the market for art right now. If only they had something that was non-wall art related. Oh, they don't. Tell you what, I'll make a mental note to come back here. I'm going to go watch some cat videos, and you know what the masks do there, right? They're not coming back. They're never coming back. So the importance of having the non-wall art is so critical. No one talks about this enough. A business, specifically your guys' businesses, can be judged how well they are growing on one metric and one metric alone. The number of new customers you are acquiring per year. The number of new customers you are acquiring per year. Why? Why? Because the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. It is significantly easier to get somebody to come back and purchase a second time than it is to go out and find a new person and have them purchase for the first time. And this is just a fundamental rule of most businesses, but specifically this business. And I alluded earlier to how important it is to not sell in galleries so that you know who is purchasing your work. There is a phenomenon in here. I stole it from this guy, so I always give him credit. Hold on, I'm going to grab his book. I stole this from Weiland. Okay, Weiland is the whale guy. Most would say the best-selling artist in the United States. By the way, this book, fire. Okay, insane, amazing. You need to go buy it. Honestly, I should be on commission for this. In fact, he's got a gallery close to where I live. I'm going to go in there and get it. Short, sweet, no fluff. I'm sorry, here it is. But the rub is it's not on Amazon. I think he donates 100% of the proceeds to charity, so you have to buy it from his website. But honestly, Google this book and buy this book. Weiland defines a collector as someone that will purchase in upwards of 7+ pieces of art from him over the course of a lifetime. And this is a phenomenon I see played out continually with my own customer base. But when you have collectors, it's a phenomenon of this business, right? Like there's certain product categories that have collectors, right? If you ask my 7-year-old kid, it's those damn Pokemon cards. They're all over my floor right now. You guys would laugh if you saw these. But shoes, cars, wristwatches, art is one of them. And it's a fantastic thing because you will keep creating throughout the course of your life. And these collectors will just go along for the ride. You keep raising prices, they keep coming and buying and buying and buying. Oh, that's awesome. Emma just said that book is on Spotify for free. I did not know that. Definitely listen to it. You want to highlight it, though. I'm not kidding. Great book. Where was I going with all that? So if we know the most important thing an art business can have as a collector, and then we know in order for a collector to become a collector, they first have to purchase something, that underscores how important it is to have non-wall art as a part of the lineup, okay? That's the 0 to 100 range. Also in there, you obviously have small prints. And then let's say you're 100 to 1,000, you get into some bigger size prints, right? Your metals, your canvas, your acrylic, you go through that 0 to 1,000 range, and maybe close to the 1,000 range, you're in limited editions, and then above that, you have your originals. Everyone has to adjust it a little bit to taste. But you also need something obscenely expensive in the store. And let's say that you sell your originals, just to keep the math simple, at like $1,000. I want one in there for 10 grand. And why? Why one in there for 10 grand? That's crazy. I'm never going to sell that thing. I don't even care if you don't ever sell that thing. You ever been to a car dealership? And you know, in the car dealership, that the big glass box in the middle, I know the car dealership is a miserable feeling in most people's heads because you have to deal with the salespeople. But anyway, the big glass box in the middle, right? Let's say we're at the Toyota dealership. In that big glass box in the middle is the Toyota Supra carbon fiber TRD whatever. It's $275,000, right? There's a reason that they put those cars inside the glass box, and it's because human beings are wired to make purchase decisions based on comparison. We anchor onto certain things to compare to other certain things. And so when we go and look at that $250,000 Supra or the $150,000 Land Cruiser that's inside the glass box, we anchor onto that price point, and it makes us feel just that much better about buying the $60,000 Highlander, right? That's on the outside. And that's a phenomenon called price anchoring. And it's just one of these psychological things that's really, really, really important to do. You feel better knowing that I didn't buy the most expensive thing. It makes you feel a little bit better. That's why you put that high-priced item in there. Also, everyone's followers, yours, mine, any business, that all fall into a thing that I call the socioeconomic bell curve, okay? It's your typical bell curve, exactly what you'd expect. And down at the low end of it, you have the low socioeconomic status. Those people can't afford anything. They'll like, comment, share on your post. They're still good people. Then you have lower income folks, middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals, the bell curve, right? You know, what does everyone always say to me all the time? Yeah, I just want to target high net worth buyers. Yeah, good. That's great. You and every other business on the planet, aside from the 99-cent store, wants to target the high net worth buyers, okay? That is why it's insanely difficult to do that. But the point is, you need to have this range of pricing that I'm discussing to be able to cover all of the spots on that bell curve. Because what happens when you do that is you acquire the highest number of customers possible. And the beautiful thing about acquiring the highest number of customers possible is you can market to these folks in the future. The bell curve is not a fixed entity. Your buyers and potential buyers are going up and down that bell curve their entire lives. The one that's living in their mother's basement right now is buying their new house 2 years from now. And you got that sale. Do you want to know why you got that sale? Because you sold them a mug or a mouse pad or a calendar or a whatever, and it sat on their fridge. It could be a sticker, okay, that's on my garage fridge with all the rest of the stickers. And every time I go out to get a beer, which is an enjoyable experience for me, I look at your art, okay? Now I've moved out of my mother's basement and I'm going to go buy a house and you got that sale. And that's how it works. And I get a lot of pushback on the merch. Okay. I'm a fine artist, Patrick. I would never sell that merch. that cheap tchotchke crap. I'm not doing that. To which I respond, let me know the last time any of you went to a museum that didn't have a gift shop. I'll wait. Okay? If Van Gogh's Starry Night is on the wall, and you can also buy a Starry Night poster in the gift shop for $22 plus tax, I'm pretty sure Van Gogh's not losing any sleep over it. Technically, he's really asleep. He's dead. But you get the point, okay? You get the point. You ever been to a concert that hasn't had merch? I don't think so, okay? The Rolling Stones, take your pick, okay? Merch is very, very important in the simple lens that you acquire more customers as a result of it. So having that price range is huge. What is one of the most defeating things that happens to artists and photographers out there? You worked hours on a piece. I mean, hours. It took so much time. You're going to sell this thing for $800. And what happens? Someone's like, yeah, that's beautiful. Would you take $25 for it? Oh, you're just deflated, right? Like this person is just, I mean, it's like a troll on social media. I mean, they have just ruined your entire day. The beautiful thing is, when you have the range of pricing, it doesn't happen as much. It almost doesn't happen at all. Because people understand, they have a context of where things are in your lineup. Oh, this is $100 and under. Oh, this is $100 to $1,000. Oh, this is over $1,000. Oh, that's the $5,000 piece. And what's more, when you get those folks who don't know any better, okay, most of them are not dead people. They just don't know any better. You can be like, oh, that's fantastic. I love that you have the interest. That one costs quite a bit more, but let me show you what is in your range. And then we gently guide them to where we are in our range. Do you know how much better that is for your self-esteem? Okay, let me tell you, significantly better. It is significantly better for your self-esteem. You are going to be a happier and better functioning member of society, okay? Your significant other is like, this is awesome. Why are you in such a good mood? It's because you have the range of pricing. Very, very important. That's pricing. I'm going to send you a follow-up article on it after this whole thing's over. In addition to the pricing, the next thing I want to talk about is Instagram. Most important social network for artists and photographers. It's not even close. Secondarily, it's Facebook. Okay, have to be working on both of them. Well, Patrick, what about TikTok, or what about Pinterest, or what about SEO? Yeah, what about shiny objects that are not going to move your business anywhere and are going to put you on the road to a hobby? All right, that's what all the rest are. I don't care what anyone else says, anyone's friends, anyone. No one is selling art on any of the rest of those things, okay? They are lying to you if they're saying they are. It's nonsense. I've looked at way too much data. Aside from onesies, twosies here with weird circumstances, the two most important places that you need to be are Instagram and secondarily Facebook. And thank God for that. Okay, don't talk to me about TikTok. I'll kick you right out of this Zoom. You are lying to yourself, okay? Stupid Chinese app, communist app that is just trying to flood you with an endorphin hit. You got 10,000 views. You didn't get 10,000 views. You got 100 views from people that are never going to buy your work, okay? So when we stay focused on the only two platforms that matter, to the detriment of wasting time on any of the rest of those ones, I don't care. Just stay out of there. Stay in my lane. Facebook and Instagram and Facebook. You will end up winning. And why is Instagram the most important? What do you guys create? You create visual creations. What is Instagram? A giant visual search engine. Imagine that. Lines up pretty nicely, right? The beautiful thing is that Instagram has become, over the years, evolved into the credit check for artists and photographers. What do I mean by that? I'm going to buy something. I saw something. My neighbor had something. It's really important for me to keep up with the Jones. I'm going to go look at what he got. And what am I doing? I'm going instantaneously to Amazon. I'm going to read the reviews. Was that thing good? Is there a better one? Maybe there's a better one. Maybe I can one-up this guy because I got to keep up with the Jones. Now, we check Amazon is a way of getting credit checks, like getting the reviews of what something is, right? So you could say Consumer Reports or some of the other sites too. For artists and photographers, it's like, hey, I just saw this. I'm at your friend's house. You sold some art to your friend. I saw that. That's a great piece. Who did that? Oh, yeah, it's my buddy. It's my cousin, Mark McClanahan over there. And you should check him out. You know what they're going to do? They're going to pull out Instagram, and they're going to look for you, and they're going to look at your profile, and are they going to say, is this an artist that's doing anything? Is this an artist that's putting out content regularly? Are they on the up and up? Do they have 2 followers or 2,000 followers, right? And it's very, very important to understand, one, that Instagram offers a credit check, okay? So fundamentally, it's important just for that matter. 2, secondarily, and I should also say, like, you know, the data in this industry is so utterly, totally, completely opaque, right? Like, there's so much nonsense out there, it's mind-boggling. But there's 2 outfits that report on the super high end of the art market. One's the Hiscox Group, it's an insurance entity out of London, and the other is Art Basel teams up with UBS Payne Weber, I think. I think that's who it is. The two of them put out a report, and what they do is they survey every year all of the folks that are essentially buying $100,000 pieces and up. And every single solitary year, I've watched the results of those reports when it comes out, and every year it ticks up. Did you follow and or consume content from an artist on Instagram? Was Instagram influential in your buying decision? And in both cases, both of their surveys, like those percentages are really pretty high. So it's significant in its ability to help you guys sell art. The top end, high end buyers are all there. Okay. So that makes it very important as well. The beautiful thing about Instagram is you can reach a ton of buyers. The terrible thing about Instagram is you have to post frequently on it for years to really make a huge dent. So yeah, one, you got to get started. Two, you have to understand you're going to suffer in the short term because it's not easy and you have to learn how to do it and you have to learn how to enjoy it and get good at it. And we can talk about that in depth. I have a ton of teaching on Instagram. But the beautiful thing that exists currently on Instagram, and I love this. Okay, we're going to have to do a little social media history lesson. But Facebook emerged. Facebook pretty much became a monopoly. Okay, power was unchecked. Then a new rising competitor came along, and Facebook is like, we can't have any competition. It was Instagram. We're going to go buy those folks. So they bought them. Okay, great. Now Facebook's even more powerful. It's Facebook and Instagram. I'm streaming on their platform when I'm saying this, so I get banned. You guys will know why. Zuckerberg kicks my door, and you'll know why. So now they own these two platforms. So the playbook was, we are a monopoly. If any competitors come along, we're just going to buy them. Okay. Snapchat emerges. Snapchat starts taking all of these young kids away from Facebook and Instagram. They're like, all right, what does the playbook say to do in this situation? Let me see the playbook. Mark, it says if we have a competitor, go and buy them. All right, somebody go and buy Snapchat. So they go and try and buy Snapchat. Snapchat says pound sand. Mark's like, okay, what does the playbook say now? We don't know. He goes, all right, we're just going to copy them verbatim. And so Snapchat had these things called stories that disappeared after 24 hours, and Facebook copied them verbatim. So, okay, now Snapchat peters out. I mean, who's using that? I don't know. It's some kids, whatever. It's whatever. I don't want to talk about it. The next one came along. This time it was TikTok. And Mark Zuckerberg went right back to the playbook. He's like, okay, this is awesome. TikTok is starting to steal a bunch of our users. It's competition. What should I do? Let's go try and buy them. He goes and tries and buy them again. They tell him no. He said, my wife is Chinese. Let me buy you. They still said no. So the next thing they do is they're like, okay, what does the playbook say next? Copy them verbatim. And so that's what they did. And by the way, the other social players were watching, and now YouTube watched, and they're like, okay, let's copy them verbatim. So what did TikTok have? These short form little videos that were 120 seconds or less and were very compelling cell phone style video size. They copied that feature verbatim and called it Instagram Reels. YouTube saw that, copied that feature verbatim, called it YouTube Shorts. I could cycle through the 3 views of those 3 different products, and you could almost not tell the difference. They even put the buttons in the same place as copycats. Anyway, why it was a brilliant thing, TikTok coming along, is it destroyed what has been up to that point in time the social contract. What is a social contract? What do I mean by that? Hey, art storefronts, work really hard on my platforms, Facebook and Instagram, and post a bunch of content. When you do, people will follow you and become fans. After you earn those followers and those fans, some small portion of what you create will be shown to those followers and fans for free. Early on in the days, it was like 90%. Recently, it's like 2 to 5%. Tiny, almost nothing, right? So that is what the social contract was. TikTok, God bless him, despite the fact that don't like the platform and think it's evil, has been still siphoning off users from Instagram at an alarming rate. It's all the younger kids and the people that are chasing likes that are not real and chasing views that are not real. It's a worthless platform. Anyway, so what they've done is they've torn up the social contract. So now where we are is we're in a scenario where you can get onto Instagram and you can have 2 followers, your significant other and your mother, okay? She likes and comments on everything. God bless you. Thank you, Mom. You can create content in the form of an Instagram Reel. And an Instagram Reel can potentially, if it's good, be seen by hundreds, by thousands, by even millions. In which case, you organically marketing without leaving your house, showing off your creations, understanding the platform can get free reach. It used to be you didn't get that. And it used to be you had to pay a ton of money in terms of Facebook and Instagram ads to get that attention. Now you can do that without leaving your house. And that's an incredible, incredible thing. So it represents a huge, huge opportunity. And so that's where we stand right now as it sits in 2023. I believe Instagram is the most amazing platform that exists. That can bring you guys buyers, bring you guys fans, bring you guys email addresses, and yes, sell your art of photography, but you have to get good at marketing it. You have to understand how to post. You have to work on your posting frequency, and you have to learn to love it. You have to learn to love it.
Which comes with time. And, you know, like, honestly, what is the alternative, right? Like, I grew up in an era where social media didn't exist, and then I got to watch the birth of it and kind of like follow it along the whole way and go through the whole entire process and everything else. And back then, we were limited to what we had going on locally. If we wanted to expand our reach, we had to have deep pockets and be able to pay for advertising. Now, for free, you can reach whoever you want with this thing, and it's an incredibly powerful, amazing thing. But you have to learn to get good at it, which is, I think, the challenging part of it. I want to get right into the Q&A. Before I do that, I want to kind of switch on or put you on. Let you know I have a podcast. The podcast is very good. It's completely free. It is anywhere that you might download or listen to podcasts. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Stitcher. It's on Spotify. It's on Aweber, Acast, all of them. And it's called the Art Marketing Podcast. You can see it over there. Releasing a ton of really, really good content on there. A ton of how to approach marketing on Instagram, how to contemplate it from a tactical standpoint, some things that you can focus and do. I'm happy to do some screen shares on that, and we can talk about that today if we're so inclined. So we will, on that note, open it right up. I should also say too, you know, one of the things that I've been catching a little bit of flack about recently on social media, because we do a ton of advertising on social media, is like, you know, Patrick, we're all like the really big, really successful customers at Art Storefronts. Why don't you ever talk about them? Why don't you ever show any of them off? And so I've heard that and internalized that, and we started doing that recently. So one of the things that we've been doing is we've been grabbing our most successful customers and inviting them into a Zoom session just like this. I interview them for about an hour, and then we open the session up to Q&A, and whoever's on the session can ask questions. It doesn't matter whether you're a customer or not a customer. And so we've been doing a ton of that recently. The last two that we've done, or I should say the first two, one, we've got a painter. Her name is Meg. She's from the Midwest. She's done over $1 million with us in like a little less than 7 years, or right about 7 years, and she has an incredible story. And so on this post, it's the recent post on the blog, I interview her, get like a whole bunch of different questions about, you know, mindset and how she approaches marketing and discounting and sales and lineup and pricing. And then the second video is just like Q&A, random customers and or people on the thing. So I'm going to throw these in the chat. You guys can check these out. There are photographers out there. We've also got a kid. His name is Jonah. He signed up when he was 24. I think he's 28 or 29 now. He's currently doing $100,000 a month. He's got his own galleries in the panhandle of Florida. He has an insanely interesting story. Kid's going to end up being the next Weiland, I think. Just really, really talented, the way he approaches marketing, branding, how he shows off his work, his niche. He's gotten his art into huge hotels. Like, doesn't even make sense what this kid's pulling off at his age, in all honesty. And so same format, did the exact same thing. I'm also going to throw this into the chat. Why do I bring these two up? They're both in the chat already. Because we're doing more of them. I think I've got another one scheduled for next week. And so that'll be the next one. And each one of them are like unicorns, right? They're selling at the top 1% of artists in the entire United States, the entire world, the top 1% period across the board. And so there's always a very, very interesting things that you can learn, how they talk about it and how they say it, and the details that how they go into it, and on and on. So that is on that front. Let's get into Q&A. How does it work? So if you're one of the brave ones that has your camera on, all you have to do is raise your hand, old school style, and I'll be like, hey, they've got a question. I can unmute you, bring you in. For everyone else, at the bottom of your Zoom window, if you notice there's like this little smiley face thing and it says reactions. If you click that, there is a way to raise your hand digitally speaking. You can see that I just did that. That lets me know, hey, you've got a question. I can bring you on, unmute you, and we can get right into it. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on, okay? I hate being on video, but this is my job. I'm a face for radio. If this wasn't my job, you'd never have any idea what I look like. You can also throw the questions in the chat. I'm happy to answer those directly. And then if you're one of the ones just watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, I see your comments. I can bring you guys in. I'm happy to answer yours as well. We can go anywhere you guys like. Take it anywhere you like. And I just need one brave soul to kick us off today. Or Alan, do you want to go right into the pricing? I'm going to unmute you first, Alan. I feel like you had some pricing questions you wanted to expand on. Let's talk about that. You'll need to unmute, though, Alan. Click the mic icon, bottom left-hand corner. Cynthia's like, why am I up on the screen? I didn't do anything. sorry, Cynthia. As soon as Alan will get it. So Alan, it's bottom left-hand corner. Like there's just like this mic. Oh,
am I there now?
Yep. Gotcha. Okay, go. Okay. No one saw your question in the chat, so why don't you just re-ask that and then we'll get into it.
Okay. I just had a question about as far as having a range of pricing, and it seems to me and I'm just brand new at this on as far as art store front. I've been a marketer and a photographer for a long time. Aren't we? Can't we reach that range of pricing? Not so much about having separate pieces, but having, as a photographer, pricing and using the different options for the different formats of images, the different paper that they're on, the framed, non-framed, and that is a tool to have a range of pricing.
Yes, you 100% can, but here's sort of what I found is like the range is critically important. You have to have the range. That's number one. Okay, and I can the reasons for that are we don't play a short-term game here. We play the long-term game. And like one of the things that I always say is like I routinely get people on these sessions in their 80s and 90s asking questions. Okay, so it's a lifelong game, and when you realize it's a lifelong game, you realize the number one thing that you can do as an artist or a photographer is acquire as many customers over the years as possible, because some small percentage of them are going to turn into collectors, and collectors are going to come back and buy again and again and again. So the math say you want to acquire as many customers as possible. Okay, so how does that go back to the range? When you have the range, you have prices for everyone in every socioeconomic status, right? There's a bell curve. You have the low income folks, you have lower middle class, upper middle class, and then high net worth individuals, the bell curve, right? Turns out that bell curve is not fixed. There's people moving up and down that thing their entire lives. So when you have the range of pricing for everyone on there, you are always in a position where if your work and your creativity reaches someone, okay, and they don't have the budget right now for one of your high-end pieces or one of your big pieces, you need to have something at the low end of the range, because the math say the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. That's number one for the range. Number two, you have to have non-wall art as a part of the lineup. Not everyone is ready to buy wall art all the time. And so when we teach you to start doing your marketing and you're out there doing your marketing and you get someone's attention that sadly is in the middle of a home remodel and doesn't want to buy art right now, or is going through a divorce, or is downsizing, or whatever the case may be, living in their mother's basement, you need to have something under $100 that is non-wall art related, such that these folks can reward you for your creativity by purchasing something and then come back when they're ready to get the wall art. And the only way that they're going to come back is if you get their email address and you have the ability to market to them in that time in between. And so it's so important to have the non-wall art. And I get so much pushback from artists and photographers saying, like, I'm not going to sell that cheap tchotchke crap. It's merch. And it infuriates me because it is just a business decision. It doesn't make you look cheap as an artist. There's not a museum in the world that doesn't have a gift shop. There's not a concert you've ever been to in your life, a huge band that's not selling t-shirts and things, because it is just a rule of business. And artists and photographers somehow get it into their heads that they think they don't need to do that. Oh, they'll just come back when they're ready to pay for one of my big ones. No, they're not coming back. They will never come back. They're watching cat videos and they're bored, right? And you're gone. So it's very, very important to have that. And a typical way to do it, to your earlier point, the 0 to 100 range is merchandise, small prints, okay? 100 to 1,000 range, then you start getting into, yes, paper prints, yes, small frame prints, yes, small canvas, yes, small acrylic. Then at the upper end of the range, let's just say, the bigger prints, and then maybe at 1,000, your limited editions as a photographer start, right? And then your really expensive limited editions, your big dogs from there. So that would be a typical way to do it as a photographer. You know, if you're a painter, it's a little different because you have originals.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Can I ask real quick another
Please.
question?
No, please. That's what this is for. Go.
You talk about dealing with Facebook and Instagram,
Yes.
and I'm a photographer that I've been doing it a long time, and I already have a pretty extensive website
Okay.
that is dealing with a commercial website and that
Yes.
kind of thing,
Yes.
not art. So I'm going to do art storefront just strictly for my artwork.
Good.
But my question is, how do I don't know how to do good on Facebook and Instagram. Where is 101 Facebook and Instagram for me to learn how to use those
Oh, we
in conjunction?
we have such a comprehensive program and how the entire thing works. We teach
Do
you.
you?
We literally teach all year long. I mean, I had a huge summit on Instagram just this week on Wednesday, teaching all of my customers various different aspects. And it's like, we don't do what I always screw up the way to say it. You know, there's like telling people how to do it and there's showing people how to do it. Like we go in depth in teaching you how to do it. And the phone gets up on the screen. We open up Instagram. We say, here's how you do it. Here's how you create a reel. Here's how you create a green screen reel. Here's what's important. Here's what's not important. So we go into super depth on it. That's weird. My thing's not.
And those are available on a place on your site that you can go into anytime and see them.
Yeah. Well, not just that. Like everyone pigeonholes us, and someone was asking me, you know, like, well, what makes you different than everyone else? Like, we get pigeonholed into, are you just a website, right? Or a website company? You're a website company that connects us to POD so we can print on demand and you handle the e-commerce, right? Yes, we are that. But the other part is we're basically a postgraduate university that teaches art and photography, business, and marketing all year long. And so Zoom sessions like these take place 5 days a week. Every single solitary one is recorded. We have a tremendous amount of DIY, learn at your own pace education. And then, like I said, with the Zoom sessions, sometimes 6 days a week, and everyone comes in and sits in, and it's just like class, except it's way more fun than college because you're actually working on your business. It's actually not way more fun. People hate the marketing, but we do teach it all year long. And then not only that, like we're, you know, when people leave Art Storefronts and they're like, this just didn't work out for me, you know, aside from an occasional like legitimate grievance here or there, 90% of the time it's because they didn't want to do the marketing, they didn't want to do the work, and they got frustrated and they just quit, right? And it bums me out because that is the vicious cycle of how artists and photographers never make it because they never take the marketing seriously. So teaching in-person classes, having the lessons that you can follow, having the language that you can use and plug in, you know, email template language, here's what you use here. But then also going through the whole process and community with a bunch of other people where everyone's asking the same questions, everyone's telling their stories, where they got frustrated. You know, I did my first Instagram live there, and instead of holding the phone like this, you know, I held it like this, right? And everyone laughs at that, and then we just get past it and we just keep going. So that's essentially how it ends up going down. Make sense? And then just to show you, you know, and what made me think about this is that you're a commercial photographer and you're doing your commercial thing, right? So I've got a buddy. He's been a customer for a long time. He's crazy. He's like PhD from Cornell, ornithology, Nat Geo, BBC, right? And he has like a huge existing business where they send him all over the world, and he's got projects and portfolios in motion. He's got a stock archive from back in the day. So what Tim does is he kept his same website, timlehman.com, because he's got a lot going on there. And then in his case, he did Tim Lehman Fine Art, and this is where his Art Storefronts installation is, right? And so this is how he chooses to sell all of his birds of paradise and his everything. So don't feel like you need to axe or get rid of that other site, right? Because you've got great history and everything else. Ideally, you know, what Tim should have done is instead of Tim Lehman Fine Art, he should have just done store.timlehman.com. But anyway, this is how he opted to do it. So don't feel like you have to axe and get rid of, you know, your existing old school website.
Makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you,
because I planned on keeping my original
Yeah.
site
Yeah,
already.
100%. Because you've built up history. Google knows what it is. It's been there for a long time. You probably have some links, like, just throw in a little tab in the menu that says store. You're good to go. You're good to
Well,
go.
also, I have a clientele already that's editorial and things like that. I'm coming to Art Storefront for art.
Yeah,
To sell that
exactly
specific.
right. And a lot of those editorial folks will end up buying from you once you start marketing to them
Yes,
too,
yes,
because it's all about know, like, and trust, right? They know, like, and trust you already.
right.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, I got to go back into grid mode so I can see if any of the rest of you guys have your hands up. Who else? Comments? Questions? I can't tell. Sometimes you have to watch for me. We have a quiet bunch on a Friday. You guys can ask anything about anything. Doesn't even need to be Art Storefronts related. Where are you at in your careers? What are you struggling with? There we go, Cynthia. I appreciate it. Go ahead.
Thank you. I have a little bit different spin.
Mhm.
I work at the nonprofit, and my goal with my storefront is to help the teens have a space to come into the storefront and
Mhm.
market.
Mhm.
And the problem with that I've had all along with marketing, yes, I'm a creative, so I'm a avoidant of the social media,
Mhm.
but also trying to figure out how to funnel the message of the reason for people coming to my site
Mhm.
is really to get donors. I mean, that's my end user, that's my
Yep.
end game, is to
Yep.
get donors and support. But then also give that twofold opportunity where it's like more of a social enterprise than a typical nonprofit.
Mhm.
And
So
when we're
just
talking about
just so I understand this, so is it like you're essentially an art gallery that a bunch of kids are displaying their art in? Is that what you're talking about? Ish?
yeah, I mean, that's the goal. That I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not there yet, but that's
Yeah.
why yes.
Yeah. It's not so much different, right? Like, the whole marketing thing fundamentally is just about getting attention. And it doesn't matter if you're getting
Mhm.
attention to try and sell the art directly or you're trying to get the attention to, cultivate donations, right? So it doesn't really matter. And, what's interesting about the donation thing is we, on a regular basis, teach our customers how to leverage, donations to grow an audience and, build a business. And there's fantastic ways to do it with charity, whether you're trying to donate all the profits or trying to keep some or anything in between. There's great things that you can do there.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, the realness of your approach to who we are is just very different from all of the other programs I've vetted. They
Yeah, I
tend
know.
to be,
I know.
like, oh, you just figured out, and it's like
Oh,
you're more
there's a
like,
magic Facebook formula that will make fish jump in the boat. Or my other favorite one, there's a list of high net worth collectors that if you just got that list, they would buy all of your art. There is so much predatory bullshit, pardon my French, out there. And you know what it is at the end of the day? Like, it's all just shortcuts. I'm here to tell you, there is no shortcut. There has never
Right.
been a shortcut. There never will be a shortcut. No one is coming to discover you and explode your art career. If you want it, you have to bust your ass and work. And I believe that we offer the best solution that stacks the deck in your favor. Still doesn't mean it's easy. You still have to do the work, right? And I don't know why enough people don't talk about that. And like you saw the rant like up front, right? Like,
Mhm.
I've been doing this for long enough now. I have talked to so many artists and photographers. I've now read all the books and listened to all the podcasts and studied everything. The gallery model is complete bullshit. It works for less than 1/10% of artists and photographers that are out there that are trying to get into galleries or in galleries, have some form of representation, that are making anything approaching a living in that model. It's sort of like the number of people, like I said in the beginning, that play a sport that you know versus the professional athletes that you know. Right? Most of us don't know a professional athlete. That is a very small list. And one of the great, like, there's two insane resources on this, and I want to share them because I get fired up about this. What is it? The $12 million stuffed shark. This is a phenomenal read. Now, it's a little bit old now, so you kind of have to adjust for inflation. What is it, 12 years old? When was this thing written? I don't know. Anyway, this one, okay, the $12 million stuffed shark, totally recommend you guys should buy this. And then this, the other one, Freakonomics podcast on the art market. Where is it? Oh my God, is this good? You guys, every single solitary artist and photographer needs to read this. Okay, Freakonomics, super reputable outfit. All right, I'm going to throw this in the chat. And they did like a super deep dive on the gallery model. So they wrote the book Freakonomics, which was like a huge hit. They're two psychologists, economists. One's from Harvard, one's from wherever. Stephen Levitt. I can't remember what the other guy's name is right now. But anyway, you know what? They did a deep dive, okay, into the art gallery market, and the dirty little secret is, almost no one's art appreciates. Period. End of sentence. Ever. Okay. Like less than 1 out of 10,000 artists and photographers' art will ever appreciate. That's number one. Number two, the fine art market as it pertains in galleries is one of the most opaque markets in the history of mankind. No one publishes anything, and the reason that no one publishes everything is because art galleries discount so freaking hard to get deals over the line. It's absolutely crazy. And so what do all artists and photographers do? I'm not going to run a sale. I'm not going to run a discount. I'm a fine artist. And yet the people that are actually not having to do that are like less than 1/10 of 1%. So anyway, I'm just going on a tangent, but I get fired up on Fridays. But you can absolutely do what you're doing. You can absolutely run your art storefront site as a gallery if you're so inclined. You can have as many of those kiddos rotate through as you like, including having your work in there. And you can absolutely do your message too, right? So, you know, you can do all of that. You can do all of that. Good. Yes, I'll go into the chat quickly and then I'll get the next hand. Alan, I see your hand. Don't worry. Robin's got a great question. I want to answer this. I'll answer all three of these. Okay. And so, one, I know everything takes a risk when investing in yourself, but it feels like I'm waiting to sell my art prematurely and not too much time to decide why should I start now instead of starting next year. Okay. This one gets me really, really fired up, and I need to speak to this. Okay. Do not take this cynically, Robin, because honestly, sign up for art storefronts, not sign up for art storefronts. That's off the table. It doesn't matter to me. You have to get started immediately, okay? You have to get started immediately. What I see on a regular basis is I'll just get started when I get the business account open, when I get my logo, when I have 12 pieces done, when I figure out what my niche is, when I get done with this, when I get done with that. And the minutes turn to hours, turn to days, turn to months, turn to years. How is that art career coming? It never gets started. It never goes. The guy that founded LinkedIn, okay, Reid Hoffman, he has this line that I love. And the line is, and I quote, "If you're not embarrassed by your first version, you've launched too late." You've launched too late. And it's so true, because who knows? Your art might take off right out of the get-go. One piece, you're up, you're running, you're ready. You have one piece. Boom. It might be complete crickets. And that what you're working on, no one wants that, right? And so if that's the case, that's not a death knell. That just means you figured it out instead of wasting the next 5 years of your life working on some particular style that the market doesn't want. And, you know, almost all artists and photographers, this is another one of these vicious cycles. You create the work. You don't ever get the work in front of enough people's eyeballs to know whether or not it'll sell. Then you're like, I'm tired with that. And then you go on to the next thing. And then just boom, 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 rinse and repeat. So you have to just get started, Robin. If you want it, doesn't matter. You might fail. You might not fail. It will be all good if you do. Failure is such a normal part of the process. Like, being a successful art or photographer is a game of archery. You're allowed to miss the target horribly a whole bunch of times. It's about whether or not you're going to fire the arrow and go again and try and figure out something that does work. And that's just how it goes. And so you've got to get started right away. You've got to get started right away. And Mike, to answer your question, and you were getting a little chippy in the chat, and I kind of like it because I get very few people that push back on me. But the number one thing that differentiates us is everywhere else you get a website, and then it's like, you're on your own. Go fend for yourself. Take your pick, okay? I'll name every competitor we have. WordPress, Squarespace, Fazo, Shopify, any of them. You get the website, have at it. Good luck. Maybe we have a little course on one thing here, one thing there, right? Not with us. You are supported week in, week out for the rest of your art selling life, okay? The Zoom sessions, the classes, the calls, the messages. We support you on your website. We support you on Instagram. We support you on Facebook. We teach you how to do ads. We call our rep if your account gets banned. It's a million things to Sunday that we do. And let me tell you, it is more important than the website. We could give the website away for free. The website doesn't mean a damn thing. It's like having the nicest restaurant in the world and no one's in the restaurant. Well, I've got the best chef and I've got the best decor and the best settings and the best wine list, but no one's in the restaurant. The website is the restaurant. It's pointless. It's pointless until you have the other things sorted. So that's how we do that. And then, yes, Marilee, this is being recorded. This will be emailed to you as soon as we get out of here. All right, Alan, you had another question. I will unmute you again. Oh, Eric, I'm gonna get Eric first, and then Alan, I'm gonna come to you. Go ahead, Eric. And you'll need to unmute, Eric. I'll let you know when you get it. Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Gotcha.
Okay. I just graduated from Intra Institute.
Okay.
And they have a portal that I can pay to get into, and I would build a funnel and all that. But it's expensive.
Yeah.
With you all, do you all have a portal where I could build a funnel? Do you work with building funnels?
Yeah, I mean, the funnel is like, it's another one of those stupid buzzwords, like, you know, that is thrown out there. Like, you need to have a funnel, right? Like, work on your funnel. Like,
website?
Yeah, the funnel's complete bullshit. Of course, every single solitary sale has a funnel. It starts with them seeing your work, and then it goes to them sending you a message, and then having the conversation, and then the art sells and gets over the line, right? So you don't need any fancy funnel. It's just marketing at the end of the day. That's number one. Number two, I don't believe in portals. I don't believe in marketplaces, okay? I've not heard of anyone doing well. Like, there's somebody in the chat, right? Like, Zathar's in the chat talking about his Etsy sales. He's like, I make $200 a month. That, to me, is every single solitary marketplace site out there, or portal, or whatever, or this. I am just not aware of a successful artist or photographer, okay, aside from unicorns, the crazy stories here or there, right, that are not selling direct, that do not know who their customers are, thereby create a collector list over the years, and that is how the business goes, right? So I just haven't heard of anything else working. I just have not, period. So, you know, the fact that you went to that school, or there are a bunch of alumni in there that would potentially buy something to get the return on investment, maybe, I don't know. But you can't do it in lieu of, you can do it in addition to having your own website, having your own social platforms, starting in on your marketing journey and learning to do that. Like, it's never going to be easy. It is going to be a grind. But if you work at it and you work at it consistently, you end up winning, right? You end up winning. That's just how it goes.
Well, thank you.
And your headphones look very comfortable, for the record.
Thanks.
Yeah.
They're Beats.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. One of my good friends works at Beats. All right, Alan Russell, back to you. And then whoever else has their hands up, don't worry, I'll get to you too.
Okay, you hearing me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm brand new to storefronts.
Yep.
But I've been a photographer for many years and made my living for many years.
Yeah. Did you already sign up, by the way?
No. I'm in the middle of doing it, and she turned me on to this webinar. But I'm like next week or something, I'm going to be getting going.
Awesome.
And what I'm trying to figure out is I have a large body of work already.
Yes.
And I have other websites and things and all. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to concentrate and make my primary goal now art prints.
Yes.
And so I'm confident my work will sell if I get people to see it. Mm-hmm. But I've been very lax on in the past, because I haven't needed it in the past, and part of why a lot of things hadn't worked, is an email list.
Yes.
And so I'm going to have to really, get my butt in gear
to
get an email list going. How's the best way of doing it?
Oh, it's great. We have. I'm gonna talk about something specifically, but I want to talk about it broadly first. The broadly is every which way to Sunday. Okay, we teach you ways to digitally grow your email list. We teach you ways to do it in the real world. I have some customers that are driving their cars around with a QR code on the back window, okay? Like, I am not above any technique and or tactic, but one of the ones that I enjoy the most, okay? And I I'm not kidding when I want you guys to listen to the podcast. I put my best stuff on here. But the last 2 episodes, actually, okay, were number 55 and 56, okay? 55, smart artists don't run ads. Instead, they do this, introducing the loop. And then number 56 is supercharging the loop, okay? I want to talk about this because I get really, really fired up about this. The loop is just this, okay? You go on your Instagram today and you do a live broadcast. You know, why don't I just do that in real time? Why the hell not? Watch. So this is how you go live on Instagram, in case you guys haven't seen this. Do you notice the little bar? God, my thing is just not updating in real time. Hold on, let me see if I can fix this. What is going on? My computer is like starting to, it's like on some sort of a delay. Here, let me do this. This will be better. Watch. Okay. So this is your default profile on Instagram, your default view, rather. It's the feed. If you click the bottom right-hand corner, there's this little person, right? So if I click this little plus sign up here, you can see it says Reel, Post, Story, Story, Highlight, Live. And Andrea, is this showing up for everyone? Can they see this? Yeah, good. So I'm going to press the live button, okay? And what this is going to allow me to do is do a live broadcast on Instagram, okay? So what the loop is just this, okay? I'm going to discuss the loop, and then I'm going to discuss how easy it is to do something like this. The loop is you have something like this, okay? An acrylic print that's small. This thing cost me $60. That's what it would cost you if you'd be a customer. Maybe it was $40, $45. Oh, this is metal, not acrylic, sorry. And you're going to say, it's Friday. I'm in a good mood. So I'm going to give away this print. To enter to win, all you have to do is put your email in this box. I'm going to announce the winner on Monday, and I'm going to send an email with the winner, so make sure you open that email. What will happen is, after we teach you how to get this in front of enough eyeballs, is you're going to get a whole bunch of different people that are going to give you their email address, okay? Then what's going to happen on Monday, you are going to announce the winner via the email, and it turns out everyone wants to win this thing, so everyone opens that email. And then you're going to say, you know what? For those of you that didn't win, okay? For those of you that didn't win, I don't ever win anything either. So for the next 48 hours for you folks, you can take 15% off store-wide, and the coupon code is this. That is the loop. So free print giveaway, sale to everyone that entered, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So I'm going to come onto Instagram, okay? This is the button right here in the middle that's going to allow me to go live. You can see it says 46 followers are active now. I'm now live. What's up, Instagram? Happy Friday. Okay, my kids started school yesterday. It's peace and calm in my house. I'm in a good mood. So I am going to run a print giveaway with this lovely metal piece entitled Autumn Comes. It is hand signed by me on the back, and I am willing to ship this to somebody that wins. How do you enter? To enter, all you have to do is go to my website. There's a link in the bio. Enter your email address, and I will be announcing the winner via that email address and on this social media site Monday at such and such time. So hope you guys enter. Best of luck. Awesome this, awesome that. Here's what it normally costs. Sorry, guys, I'm teaching on Instagram Live. Hope everyone has a wonderful Friday. So I'm going to turn that off, right? And because just doing that, I probably just reached, 50 or 60 people doing that, right? So that's the loop. And it turns out the loop works absolutely everywhere that it's tried, okay? It's a tried and true technique or tactic, right? You ever been to a sandwich shop where they're like, drop your business card in the bucket to win a free sandwich? It's just a variation of that, right? So let's say you're doing an in-person Thayer show. You set the fishbowl up, right? People can put their email addresses in the fishbowl to win a free print. You do the exact same thing. That's the loop, and it works 100% of the time. It's tried. It's always worked. If I was the artist or photographer, now I'm a marketing sicko, I would probably run one a week, okay? Because the thing is, the cost for you to print and ship this is just better money spent than running an ad on Facebook or Instagram. It's better money spent than running an ad in your local paper. It's just running an ad. It's just doing so in an extremely creative way. This thing is going to cost me $49 to get to whoever's house, and I might get 150 or 250 emails from just this, which divided by the cost per email is a pretty doggone good cost per. Okay. Chicken and egg situation, though, Alan. Which came first? Patrick, I don't have a lot of people on Instagram. That's my problem. I don't have a lot of people on Facebook. So if I do that print giveaway, it is going to be my wife and my mother opting in. How is that going to help me? It's not, right? And so that's where on this podcast episode over here called Supercharging the Loop is where it gets really creative. So what you do is you take your particular niche. What is your niche? What do you shoot, Alan? What's
the American West.
The American West, okay? So what I would do is I would come on to Instagram, okay? I would search the American West, and I would try and find an account that has a ton of, what, get out of there. Oh, I have to discard it. Hold on. Discard. So let me just show you, okay? I like doing the show and tell. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go search, and I'm going to go American. You said Southwest, right?
American West.
Just American West, period. Let's see what comes up on American West. I'm curious. All right, and so I'm going to start looking at some accounts that are American West. What is this one? Mountain Prairie, Montana. This person has 11,000 followers. Professional question asker, Mountain Prairie. I don't know about that one. That's an artist. Triple Creek Ranch. They've got 16,000 followers. Okay, that's interesting. West Chief Co, Montana. What is that? How many followers do they have? 4,000? No. Cultured Magazine from Arizona. 303,000 followers. Okay. So let's just say for the sake of argument that this particular magazine is focused 100% on the West, right? So I would send this person a DM. I would click message, and it's going to open up a DM, and I would have a photo, me holding the art, and said, hey, you know, I noticed your audience would probably really, really appreciate the work that I do. Do you think you would be open to maybe running a print giveaway? I'd love to give you a couple $100 print that you can give away for your audience if I could just get a mention and a reference to me, right? And you run a variation of that. And once you do that, you have to contact a number of people because you get a lot of no's. But when you do that and you get a hit, there might be some American West account out there, okay? It could be a shop, it could be an individual, it could be an anything that will have a ton of followers, and you get one person to say yes, and you could end up with 1,000 people on your email list in a 24-hour period. That's how it happens. That's how it happens. So we teach you how to do that too.
Okay.
Yeah. You got a lot to learn, Alan. It's going to be painful.
Sure do.
It's going to be painful. You're going to get more gray in that beard, but you know what? You will start taking positive steps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can do it.
Good. Good. I look forward to seeing you on the inside shortly. I want to deal with something in the chat. I don't think, Mike, that, you know, you should get it scanned with a high quality scanner. You can do that, but it's just more expensive. So one, we have as a customer, we have the guy that used to take all the photos for Sotheby's. He's a customer, and so he wrote like a really in-depth guide how you can do it yourself. I do not think you should do it yourself. Craigslist is amazing. You put one post on Craigslist and you say, I'm looking for a photographer that knows how to shoot art and has shot art before and understands the lighting. You post that and then you shut up. 24 hours later, you'll have 50 to 60 people in your inbox. You find the ones that look like they have actually shot art before. You make a deal with them. They come to your house. They set the lights up in the garage or your living room, and you cycle all through your work, all in a short period of time, and get it all professionally shot. Then you're good to go. I think it's cheaper and easier than scanning, depending on what portion of this country that you're in. I very well likely has a customer that already has a photographer in your area that they've already used. And sometimes I hear, oh, yeah, California, Robin, give me a break. You will post one I need help ad on Craigslist, and you will have 275 responses in less than an hour. Okay, less than an hour. And they will come to your house. They will shoot it all. I've heard as cheap as $25 per piece. Some customers pay $35, but that's sort of the range. And, I have some customers that knock out hundreds of pieces, all photographed, all professionally, and then off to the reproduction, shop that you go. So that's the easiest way to do it. You don't feel like you need to do all of it at once either. I'm a lunatic, okay? Most people will not follow my advice. But you know what I would do? I would take iPhone photos of every single solitary one, put them all up on the website, wait till I got my first order. As soon as I got my first order, I'd call that person. I'd be like, hey, I'm just about to get the work all rephotographed. Would you mind waiting a week until I ship this? I'll give you $50 off. You know what they'll say? Absolutely, no problem. Then you know what you do? Frantically go find the photographer, get the work shot, and then you're ready to reproduce it. Well, you already have the cash in hand, right? Like, I don't open a bank account until I have a check written in the name of the entity to go down there and open the account with. Like, so many people waste so much time on nonsense that is not going to fundamentally grow the business. But you can get all of your work photographed in California so quick, it'll make your head spin. It's crazy. So very, very easy way to go about it. How we recommend going about it. What else? Questions? Who else, guys? I can't remember if someone else had their hand up. Roger, you had a question about Lightroom versus the other one. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever you feel like is the the better system for you. I don't think there's a huge advantage to one versus the other. Like, however you want to do it. I don't know, Andrea. Does the Lightroom metadata that you can embed in those photos, will that move right into the description in Art Storefronts if you do it correctly?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that to take in. If you signed up with us, the point is that you can add like the description in one of those metadata fields, and then obviously it saves to the image, and then when you upload it, like the item will appear in your store and the metadata will all be correct, so the description will be there. Something to think about, but you can always do it after the fact too. So yeah, that's what I would say on that. Yep. You're welcome, Roger. All right, who else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? Oh yeah, what's the difference between Zenvolio and ASF? Two different sports. It's not even close. But if he doesn't feel like, sitting in on this, that he's seen any difference, then, it's not going to take. Thank you very much, Co's Photography. I promise he's not on commission, but he should be. It's a lovely comment. All the different services, incredibly helpful. The customer service is top tier. Thank you. But who else, guys? Questions? Anything about anything? Does not matter to me. Yeah, there we go, Eric. You'll need to unmute again. Don't forget to unmute.
Okay, yeah, okay. Let's say I send out a print of my art. Does it have to be ready to be hung up, or is that their responsibility?
That's their decision, right? That's their decision. But yeah.
So it's just the print I send?
Well, it depends. Like, what are they going to order, right? If they order a print rolled in a tube, they can do that. They can get a print rolled in a tube. They can take that to their framer. Their framer can frame it the way that they want. They can hang that. If it's a canvas print or, a metal print, these are ready to hang. This is how it comes out of the box, just like this. All you got to do is just go put it on the wall and do it. So, no, the expectation is not that you show up at their house across country with the print and be like, I'm here. Let's get this thing hung up. No, no, you don't have to do that. But for like 100% of the local orders that you can show up for, I totally recommend it because one, you get to know a customer. Two, you might get like to hang it up on the wall, the whole thing. So yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks, sir. Good question. Some of our most successful customers will like literally go with their handyman to 100% of the local orders that they get, hang the work, and then sit down in these people's living rooms and get to know them a little bit, right? Because they're the most likely people to come back and buy again. And what ends up happening when you, the artist, shows up to professionally hang the thing in the house, you start having conversations, and they're like, hey, can I show you this other bedroom over here, right? Or can we take a look at my office? I have a space there, and I'm just curious. And the conversation gets started, and and that's how it works. So that is what I would say about that. Okay. I am going to send you guys an email after the fact. It is going to have the replay of this should you feel like you need to go back for any reason. It will have the majority of the resources and some other stuff. I've got an article on pricing in there. I've got my ultimate guide to fairs and shows to any of you folks that do those things in person. And so there'll be some goodies in the email. You can check that out. For anyone that wants to find out more about what we do, this session's just like a meet and greet and listen to me rant. If you actually want to get like a tour of the software and all the bells and all the whistles and we call that the demo process. There's buttons everywhere, all over the site, all over the place. And you can fill that form out. They'll schedule a Zoom with you, walk you through all the plans, all the pricing, show you the website, show you all of our private stuff, all the education stuff in the back. And then you could ask any and all questions you like. So great thing to do if you're interested. Other than that, you guys, Q4 is coming. It is the best time of year to sell your art all year long. If nothing else, start making some noise. Start letting people know you exist right now, such that when these holiday sales start, it's not the first time they've heard from you ever. They know that you have art for sale, right? And go, Alan, I got you. Don't worry.
Is it actually feasible to get in from the start right now and be ready and up to market for the fourth quarter?
Oh, you kidding me? We'll have your website ready to go in like 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 1,000% yes. 1,000% yes.
I don't know a lot about the ins and outs yet, but in just my first talk with one of the reps there, it seemed like there were a lot of limits on how many images you can put in at a time. And
well, the limits are less about like, the limit of how many you can put in and more about like analysis paralysis. If you have too many up there, then they're just shopping, and they never get to the checkout. So we have the sort of advisable numbers that you don't want to go. You don't want 10,000 images on there. That's not a store, right? Like everything that we do at the end of the day is just trying to take in the digital context what is the best way to sell art in the real world, which is in a gallery. So think like a gallery, right? Like you can have a big gallery, but a big gallery is going to have 150 images, not going to have 10,000, right? So they're going to try and focus you on that. So it's a good just sort of mental takeaway. Now, you could still have 1,500 images on your site, but I don't want you having 30,000 because then I'm going to leave because I just keep searching. It's like, get me out of here, right? So we teach you all that stuff, though. Don't worry.
Okay.
All that matters is you have one image up and that you can take credit card. That's how you start. Right? Because then you're going to get started. But I appreciate all of you. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope you learned something. The replay will be on its way shortly. And you guys can do this. Whether you sign up or not, you can do this. You can let people know you exist ahead of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and run a sale a couple weeks ahead of time. You saw that I just basically did one on Instagram Live right now without any preparation. Every one of you could do that. So, all right. Appreciate you guys. Great rest of your days. Great weekends. And holiday weekend, too. Everybody enjoy the day off Monday. Not you. Andrea, you're Canadian. Does not apply to you. I don't think it does. You get it off, too? Oh, that's amazing. All right. Well, she gets it off, too. So we'll all enjoy it.